Ladies and gentlemen, it has finally happened. Finally! Holy crap, finally! Nintendo has announced officially that there is a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. If you haven't heard that, are you living under a rock or something? Because I know you haven't heard that. So, yeah, freaking finally, we've all been waiting ages for a Nintendo Direct. And thank heavens, it's not a mini Direct, it's not a partner showcase, it's not a specific game, it's a full, beautiful Direct. And once more, it's for 40 freaking minutes! 40 minutes! That is a lot of time. That is a lot of time and a lot of games to cover. Now, they do mention specifically that it will be focusing on the, winter season, right? Winter, basically, to the end of this year. That's where most of the games are going to come from, right? Focused on this year. However, it's Nintendo. Even when they say that, they usually will slip in a few games that aren't, that aren't within this year or are outside of that season. So, without further ado, I want to do some predictions for this upcoming Direct, because I think it will be fun. So, let's just move right on to this. Number 1, this is a bit of an out there suggestion, but I think we'll see Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. Yes, now most of you know, if you haven't heard, basically, the game's done, it's complete, but it had, unfortunately, to be delayed due to the whole war in Ukraine. And, well, that's still raging on, and we're not really going to get into that. That's not what we're here to talk about. However, I get the game was delayed because they wanted to, show respect for the conflict going on in Ukraine, just releasing a war game at the time didn't seem quite, time sensitive. However, I think it's kind of getting around to the point now where it's okay to release that game. And granted, I'm not in Ukraine yet, right? This is just my opinion, but I think it's okay to release the game now. Maybe that's just me, but I think it's fine. Now, obviously, if it does show up, I don't think it will release right now. My prediction, it's going to release in December, right? Right at the tail end of this year. I think that's a very good possibility. Because, it's at the end of the year, it's December, and I think by that point, I think everyone's going to be like, you know what, Nintendo, it's okay, right? You showed your due respect, you gave the game time, right? Like, you didn't release it right then, because it was, war going in Ukraine, the game kind of has a Russian-themed protagonist, it didn't line up too well. But I think, by December, I think it's fine. I think people can be okay with it, I think they'll say, alright, you did your due respect, but it's okay to release the game. Alright, maybe that's just me because I really want to play the game, but I think that one's, I think that's a fine time to release it, because technically right now, there's actually a lot of success on the Ukrainian front, so, Slava Ukraine, but again, we're not really here to get on that, so, and you can't wait forever, right? You gotta release the game at some point, so, again, that's just my thing. I think we'll see Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. I think we'll see that in December. At least that's my prediction. Then, plus, releasing it in December will be great, because it will have, its own time, because Nintendo doesn't usually do stuff in December. No big stuff. So that'll give Advance Wars kind of time to shine, especially because Pokemon will be right in the month prior, in November. Right? I believe that's right. And, speaking of Pokemon, will Pokemon show up there? No. Alright, that's just my thought. I feel like every time a Nintendo Direct gets asked, or, not asked, what am I saying? Every time a Nintendo Direct gets announced, that's what I meant to say, people always go like, oh, will Pokemon be there? Pokemon could show up there, but let's be honest, Pokemon never does. Pokemon Company likes to do their own thing and show off news at their own time, so I don't think we'll be seeing Pokemon there. But, next up, we got something interesting, which is a Fire Emblem game. Now, apparently there have been kind of leaks and stuff about a whole new Fire Emblem project getting out there. I don't keep up on that because I'm not really a big fan of leaks. But do I think we'll see Fire Emblem there? I'm kind of mixed on this. Because on the one hand, it's certainly possible, right? I think enough time has passed from Three Houses that Fire Emblem definitely could be made, I think a new Fire Emblem game, could release this year. I don't think that's an impossibility. However, my thing is this, right? Is that we did have Fire Emblem Three Houses, the Musou spin-off game that released a couple months ago in July. And I think that's right. And I don't know. Obviously, that's a Muso-style game. It's not a mainline entry, so it's not like that would necessarily conflict with releasing a Fire Emblem game. I'm just thinking about it, since this presentation is focused mostly on games coming out this winter or this year, I feel like they might hold off on showing Fire Emblem until, like, the February Direct in next year. And the reason why I say that is because, while there are some games I will get onto later that I think will be shown off, even if they're not coming out this year, for the most part, at least for me, I think that Fire Emblem, like a new Fire Emblem game, I don't know, I don't see it releasing this year. I think it's possible, but I don't see that happening. Just simply because I'm thinking, it's already September, and then we got October, November, December, right? Like, we're actually crazily approaching the end of the year pretty quickly. And we already got some bigger games I'll get onto in a moment here that are coming out this year, so I don't know. I just, obviously, you know, it's not like these Nintendo games need a full month to themselves or anything. It just feels like it'd be a little crammed to put Fire Emblem in this year, the end of this year, so I feel like that's a game I could be seeing releasing early next year, like in the early part of 2023. I think that's when we'll see Fire Emblem. And so because of that, they might hold off to show that game until the February Direct, right? The general Spring Direct that happens at the start in 2023. Of course, like I said, though, Nintendo doesn't always stick strictly to this rule, so we could still see it. But I'm going to guess it's not going to show up. That's actually my prediction. It's not going to show up there. But let's move on right next to some updates, right? First off with Mario Strikers Battle League. I haven't been keeping up a ton on that. I mean, people got plenty of thoughts on that, so I'm not really going to go into it. But Battle League, I'd say, well, we might get a trailer briefly adding in some more content or something. That's about it, you know. Just free DLC. At least I think they announced a roadmap, so don't quote me on that. I haven't been keeping up on that, sorry. But let's get more interesting stuff with Splatoon 3. Now, Splatoon 3 just released, you know, on Friday, a couple days ago, and it's a wonderful game, amazing. But the question is, do I think that Splatoon 3 is going to show up there, either, you know, with, like, DLC announcements or their free updates, as, you know, they are doing those, and they announced DLC is going to be there. I don't think so, actually. I actually don't think we're going to see Splatoon 3 there. And the reason why I'm saying that is because not only did the game just come out, but it just feels like not enough time has passed for it to really, you know, really warrant new updates coming out. I mean, if new content's coming away towards Splatoon 3, well, that's great, you know, not a problem. Just since the game did release, you know, just a few days ago, I think we probably won't see it there. I don't think Splatoon 3 will really make much of a presence. Like, maybe they do an update or something, but the soonest update I see coming to Splatoon 3 is next month, right? I'd see, like, something maybe coming in October, so I don't think we're going to see Splatoon 3 there, just because it did recently release, and it's already doing crazily well. You know, it's not like Metroid Dread, where, you know, while Metroid's a beloved series, it's also kind of a niche series, so you had to get a lot of, you know, trailers and news and stuff going for that, like they did last year. But Splatoon 3, since that's, you know, been selling gangbusters just in Japan alone, yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing Splatoon 3 at this Direct. That's my prediction. And finally, on the more update side of things, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. That game did release in July, and they did plan for some big DLC coming to that game. So, while I still feel like it might be a bit early, I could see them announce whatever the next DLC is going to be for Xenoblade 3. Haven't got a chance to fully play it yet. I do love Xenoblade. I just, unfortunately, haven't gotten the time for that yet. But, again, I do think that's at least a possibility, right? I think it's possible that we could see the DLC there. I don't think it's super likely, just because it's not been that long since the game released, but I'm not going to count it out, so I guess I guess I'll say sure. I predict that Xenoblade DLC will be there, Xenoblade 3. Because they do some pretty big DLC, if you don't know. Like with 2, they did Torna, and that was big enough they did like a whole separate cartridge just for that alone. But next, let's get to some games that are most definitely going to be there. Bayonetta 3 and Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Let's start with Bayonetta 3. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be there. The game looks gorgeous, looks amazing. I actually did a whole reaction to that trailer when it came out because it was fun. It was a good trailer, but I do think we're going to see that there. Bayonetta 3. I don't know why I'm pausing. Yeah, I definitely think that's gonna be there. I think that's an easy win. All right, that game's releasing next month. It looks great. There's so much we could see and so much, details we don't know about the game. So 100%, I think that's gonna be there. I think that's an easy shoe-in. And as well, Sparks of Hope. Heck yes. Which, by the way, I mean, Bayonetta 3, let's get hyped for that, but also Sparks of Hope. Please, Nintendo fans, get hyped for this game. Alright, Ubisoft just show off more, like, another trailer for it, with their whole Way Forward event. You don't need to watch it. Nintendo uploaded the trailer on their channel, but holy crap, the game looks so good. Like, I'm trying to refrain myself. I'm gonna be doing, like, a whole video going over just how exciting, how great the game looks, because it freaking looks amazing, alright? Sparks of Hope looks amazing, and that's definitely gonna get a trailer here. Right, now I don't think we're going to be seeing anything new per se, right? Like the Bayonetta 3, yeah, we'll definitely be getting some new info on the game, but Sparks of Hope, Nintendo always lets, Ubisoft kind of handle the marketing side of that stuff. They let them show off the game first before they do, so we'll probably get a trailer just recapping what was shown off in the Ubisoft Presents. We'll probably just get a recap trailer. But still, that game, I'm so excited for it. That's also releasing next month, so heck yes. Heck yes. I love the first Mario Rabbids game, right? Kingdom Battle. It's amazing. Donkey Kong DLC. Oh, that's amazing. And the new game takes everything the first game was doing and does it even better. Like, I'm sorry. I gotta stop because I'll just keep going on if I don't stop myself. It looks amazing. The game looks great. It's definitely gonna be there. So, let's move on. Next up, we have something I'm personally excited for. Game Boy Advance and Gamecube rumors. Now, I am no industry insider or anything, but apparently from YouTube videos I've seen, people have been talking about potentially Game Boy Advance coming to Switch Online. My thoughts. Well, I certainly think it's possible. I don't think it's a shoo-in, though. I don't think it's like an easy win, but I would love that. Personally, I hope it is there, right? Game Boy Advance, I would love to see coming to Switch Online, because I think that's just a great way, like so much of that library is so fun. There's so many great games on Game Boy Advance and just the Game Boy line in general. And that would be a perfect way to beef up the Switch Online service, right? Put in all these games, right? Put in the Game Boy Color, Game Boy, and Game Boy Advance. Like, put them all in there together. That is so many great games you can draw from. And just so many, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. But yeah, that's a lot of great games to draw from, and I think so many people would be happy with that and give us more stuff to do, right? Because, like, N64, there are still more games to... Sorry. There are still more games that we could see come out of there, right? Like, there are still more N64 games to come, I'm sure, but I think Game Boy and Game Boy Advance is just a perfect way to really beef out the Switch Online, give us lots of new games to kind of play, and their libraries are so big and vast that you got plenty of stuff you can keep updating. And I guess since we're on the topic of Switch Online, will they announce any other like SNES or NES games coming to the service? Probably not. Alright, I figure it will go like this. If Game Boy Advance and like that does get announced for Switch Online, I could see them maybe doing like an SNES game announcement, right? Like, I believe it was the Direct at the start of this year, right? February, that is when they announced, hey, Earthbound and Earthbound Beginnings are coming to Switch Online, which was a bit of a big announcement. It was pretty cool, right? It wasn't Mother 3, unfortunately, but hey, at least the games did fully come over here. So, if So if Switch Online gets touched on outside of like Game Boy Advance, I could see them maybe do like one big announcement of this game coming to SNES, which you might be able to guess what I'm thinking, but I'm thinking Super Mario RPG, right? That is a big game that a lot of fans have been requesting and a lot of people have been wanting to play, and it has yet to come on over to SNES for some reason. It hasn't come over yet. So if Switch Online does get touched on, right, if we get something related to that, or if we get Game Boy Advance, I could see them being like, guess what? Shadow Drop, boom, today we have Super Mario RPG playable, right? After this presentation, go download it, you can play it, right? I could see them maybe do that. I think that's a possibility. And that's a big enough game that would make people pretty excited for that. So sorry, I'm digressing a little bit from that stuff, but yeah, again, Game Boy Advance and Game Boy, people have been talking about that. I think it's possible. Again, I don't think it's a mega shoehorn in it. I don't think it's an easy yes, but I think it's definitely got a chance. It's definitely got a possibility. Now, the crazy thing, I'll throw this out here, right? Because I haven't heard as many people talk about this. Well, this is just to add a theory within a prediction, basically, is if we do get Game Boy Advance, I've been thinking about this. How is Nintendo going to add it to NSO, right? Because everyone's been saying, oh, it's just probably all going to be added to expansion pack tier, expansion pack. But I just thought about this. Game Boy and Game Boy Color, great games, super fun, but they are, pretty old, pretty basic, right? I mean, the old games were kind of like an NES, right? The equivalent to, at least. They could do NES-style games. And so I'm thinking is, while a Game Boy Advance is, much more complex, it could do bigger and grander games, I'm thinking is, what if if Nintendo does actually bring these games in the presentation to NSO Online, my idea is, what if they make Game Boy and Game Boy Color available to current Nintendo Switch Online members, and then make Game Boy Advance in expansion pack tier? I know most people would say, well, why would Nintendo do that? Put it on the expansion pack, that's gonna make them more money, stuff like that. They, like they already put N64 into its own tier, so I doubt they would put Game Boy Color in the base one. But the reason why I say that is because, like I said, Game Boy and Game Boy Color, they're a bit more basic compared to Advance, right? Advance more capable, it could do more. And so I think those would be smart games to put on NSO Online. They're a bit more basic, but they're still plenty of fun. And that would be great to kind of, give more NSO Online members, just better value, right? I mean, the base tier is so cheap, right? It's $20 a year. It's very cheap. But I think adding that would just be a cherry on top. So it's like, hey, you already get all these NES and SNES games, but now you're going to get Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. I think that would just be a good way to really make that bottom tier, successful, right? I mean, most everyone already has a subscription to NSO Online, but I think that would just make the bottom tier just completely worth it, adding in those two. I think that could happen, at least. That's my theory. I think that could actually happen. And then, like I said, Game Boy Advance, I think will definitely be in the expansion pack tier. But I think, that will be definitely in the higher tier. But I think that could actually happen. Plus, another really cool thing is too, like, Game Boy games, did have like link cable support for some games. And so that'd be really cool if you could, have that feature, incorporated into NSO Online, where you could link up with another person. Essentially online for whatever games have it, but be able to do maybe like either split screenplay, maybe, or maybe just connect with another person's, Switch, and local multiplayer, and have like kind of link cable functionality be local multiplayer, stuff like that. But either way, I'm getting into a lot of speculation on that. So let's move on. Let's move on, because I'm rambling. Essentially, again, I think that's, I guess to put it hard down, yeah, I think we'll see Game Boy Advance added to NSO Online. I don't think it's super likely, I'm tempted to almost say no, I don't think it's gonna happen. But why not? It's funner to go crazier with the predictions. Let's just say that. Game Boy Advance coming to NSO Online. But I'll take it a step further. Advance is going to be in an expansion pack. Game Boy Color and Game Boy are going to base NSO. Sure, why not? Let's have fun with it. Now, let's get to the other half of this equation. Sorry, I really went on that Game Boy spiel, which is the GameCube. If you know me, I love me the GameCube. Alright, GameCube's amazing, it's wonderful. Can go on about it a long dang time. And we've been hearing, a lot of rumors around the GameCube. Specifically, number one, Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess, both coming potentially within a double pack. Now, I think this is certainly easily possible, right? You basically just have to take the Wii U ports, bring them over to Switch, and bada boom, bada bang, easy. Now, of course, how are they going to price them if they do? I think these are definitely something that's going to happen, right? Because Nintendo wants a Zelda release every year, and unless they surprise us with something like, let's say they did a Minish Cap remake, well, that would be amazing. I would not be against that in the slightest. However, I think they're probably going to do ports of that. I mean, that would make most sense too, right? Because then you'd have Skyward Sword, and then you would have Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, and then you already have Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time through NSO Online, which means you'll have, like, all the main, you'll have every single, main Zelda, 3D Zelda title on Switch now, right? If you bring those two over, you'll have all the mainline Zelda 3D Zelda titles, and that'll be the perfect thing. It's like, hey, go play these games before Breath of the Wild 2 comes up, before that comes out. I think that is a perfect time for these games to release. Breath of the Wild 2, we'll get on to that in a little bit, okay? But let's first, wrap this up. So, could those be coming? I definitely think yes, right? And no, I don't have any sources or anything telling me that. I just think it's definitely possible. I think those could easily show up. The biggest thing I'd say about them is, would they be in a double pack or separate releases? Well, Nintendo does like to price things higher. I think they do understand, hey, releasing re-releasing two games from the Wii U basically onto Switch, porting them over, and charging $60 each ain't gonna look nice, right? Like, I think Nintendo at least acknowledges that, so I think we could see a double pack for $60. I think that's an easy win. $30 a pop, $60 for the two of them. I think that could certainly happen. I know some people might believe it, but that's what I'm going with. $60, two-pack for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. Now, before we get to the big ones, let's get on to another sweet rumor. One I think Jeff Grubb has been going on for ages. Yes, that is Metroid Prime showing up here at this presentation, right? Metroid Prime. Now, people have been apparently just talking about this. I don't know, either it's been done for a while or something. I don't know, I'm not really going to get into all of that. But, do I think Metroid Prime could get brought over? Because at least from what I've heard on YouTube is that, essentially, it's going to be not a full remake, but it's more than a remaster, much like Definitive Edition for Xenoblade Chronicles, right? Redone textures and elements and other stuff. The game's HD, it has stuff redone, but not a full remake. Now, just for me personally, I want to see this. Please, Nintendo. Metroid Prime is such a cool franchise. Alright, Metroid's an amazing franchise in general, but I love the 3D titles. Prime is a masterpiece of a game. For the love of the Lord, Nintendo, please bring Metroid Prime over. Please. Alright, that's my wish. I'm gonna say yes. I'm predicting this showing up in the presentation just because I want it, right? Nintendo, please bring this game over, right? Just in some way, bring Metroid Prime over. 2 and 3, yes, as well, but especially Metroid Prime, at least get that over here, right? So, that's my prediction, and that's gonna show up, alright? That's what I'm predicting right now, because I want it to be there, alright? What can I say? I just want it to be there. Now, before I go on to another big theory I have, let's hit on to one more GameCube title that I have on good authority, aka I saw it in a YouTube video, which means it probably is true. Which is F-Zero GX, yes! Yes, I saw, some YouTubers were kind of talking about it. It certainly could not be true, and remember, the biggest thing to remember with all this, hype responsibly, always set your expectations low, right? I mean, I totally get if you're hyped like me. I really want there to just be a buttload of content and news coming out because we've been waiting for a long time, especially because we didn't have a summer director, so I want to see a lot of stuff coming out of this, no doubt. But it's important to remember to keep your expectations in line, to, you know, to hype responsibly. Because you set your expectations low and then the presentation blows it away, that's way better than setting your expectations too high and then the presentation not being able to meet that. And let's also remember that most of the games are being focused on this winter, aka this year. So, while some probably will extend into next year, technically since it says winter, most will probably be focused on this year. But, back to the point, F-Zero GX. Yes, please. I'm just gonna say it's coming because I want it, alright? Nintendo, I love Metroid, and I also love F-Zero. Please, please, Nintendo. Alright, I just have to ask, please bring F-Zero to the Switch. I don't care. Just bring GX over to Switch. It doesn't have to be a new game. Just HDFI GX and put it on the Switch. Alright? Boom. Bada bling, bada boom, simple. Alright, I don't care. Just put F-Zero on this platform. Alright? Yes, I know Nintendo says, like, oh, well, we just don't know where to go after GX. It was the peak. Well, it was an amazing game. It is practically the closest you get to being God, alright? Like, GX is an amazing game, so just bring it over to Switch. Doesn't matter. Alright, just bring that game to Switch. I do not care. So, yeah, GX. I really want that here. If you're going to tell, I really want that. So, I'm predicting it. I don't care. I'm predicting F-Zero GX is going to be announced in this presentation because I want F-Zero. Alright, and I will continue to keep asking for this game and predicting it until it comes true, because please, Nintendo, do something with F-Zero, alright? F-Zero's amazing, and you need to do more with it, alright? I'm just saying it. Please, please. Alright. Now with that out of the way, sorry, I really went on those tangents. But now that it's out of the way, I want to throw in a bit of a curveball here. I don't think this is necessarily going to be at the presentation, but just something I thought about in general. A while back, I saw a video from Nintendo Life. It was pretty fun. Basically, them going over, you know, like, would Nintendo do a Nintendo Select series on the Switch, right? Basically, if you'd never, I don't know, if you somehow didn't know what that is, basically, budget re-releases of very popular games. So, like, Mario Galaxy was a full-price game on Wii, did really well, so they did a Nintendo Selects version of it on Wii at a cheaper price, stuff like that. Right? So, with that said, sorry, I'm kind of blinking a little bit, because it's freaking hot in here, but with that said, right, so, they went on about, like, whether or not a Nintendo Select series would, you know, show up on Switch. But for me, I kind of came up with a little idea of my own. And it's not necessarily a Nintendo Selects, but an idea kind of sparked in my head, and then that with all this GameCube topics got me thinking, what if Nintendo does a full-on, like, big GameCube re-release line, right? Now, I know many people would probably prefer Nintendo just, like, bring it all over to Nintendo Switch Online, and sure, that'd be cool, no doubt. I'm not saying that's bad. But I'll be honest, personally, I kind of want a re-release line of these GameCube games. Now, I'm not going to go too in-depth on this because I want to make a whole separate video on it, and we'll see what happens at this presentation. But here's the thing, like, Nintendo, they can still kind of make money off of these, you know, GameCube games, right? Putting them all in online, sure, that'd be great, but... but that'd be great, but they can still make money through re-releases. Now, here's my thing. I freaking love the GameCube, if you can tell. I do really love it. I love a lot of the games and libraries. Just one of, if not like the best, like just output of games out of Nintendo came in the GameCube era. And so many people have not gotten to experience those games. So I think a full-on like re-release line of a lot of GameCube games would be a perfect thing to bring to Switch, right? You could do all sorts of fun stuff, right? Imagine like they could design like the Switch boxes, but they could maybe they could give them like special slip covers that mirror give them like these cases special slip covers that could mirror like old GameCube box art, right? You know, like you could take it off and you'd have the normal Switch box art, but you could put this slip the cardboard slip over it, and then it would mirror the old GameCube box art. Like, that'd be so cool. That'd be so fun. And then too, like, oh, imagine if they included like a mini reprint of the old game manuals and stuff. Oh, I would love that. But I'm gonna go a bit too much on that. But I'm just thinking, a whole GameCube re-release line, I think would be great. Now, how much would it be? Well, I'd say the best range would be $20 to $40, right? Depending on the game, some might say hit 20, great. 30 would be the average. Maybe some put at 40. Now, I know it's Nintendo, and they usually like to price stuff at $60. However, I think some of the games could do really well at that kind of $30 range. And I think that would work well for both Nintendo and fans. Because if they priced them at $60, I don't think some of these games would do as well, but price on at 30, I think that's a sweet spot. Alright, and like, I think the reason why I'm also really would love a re-release line of these GameCube games is that it's a great way to put them all physically, right? You can have new physical versions of all these old GameCube games. So that way, you know, like if you've kept up with Nintendo news, you know how the Wii, the Wii eShop, or its digital store went down a while ago, but now the Wii U and the 3DS eShop is pretty much gone now. At least, you can still make purchases, but you can't add money to it, so you only can purchase with what you've got left on there. It's really it's really a big shame, and it's really sad. But having a full re-release line of some of these old GameCube games would mean that you wouldn't have to worry about like a virtual console going away or digital going away. Right? No matter what, down the line, we can always still have these physical games, so you don't have to worry about, the eShop or any of these things going down. And I think that would be great. Plus, like I was saying, you could do so much fun stuff with this, and there are so many great games that this would be perfect for to bring over to the Switch, right? I mean, because another thing it kind of reminds me of, if you saw Scott the Woz did a whole video on like the NES re-release line on the Game Boy Advance, and the Japanese versions of those for the Super Famicom, for the Famicom on the Game Boy Advance were really cool. If you want to see what they look like, just watch Scott Sawad's video. He goes over this whole thing, but I'm just thinking, like, I would love for a full-on GameCube re-release line for the Switch, because some of these games would be just great to have on Switch. They still hold up really well, and it's a great way to gauge, fans of the series, right? Like, Chibi Robo, that is such a cool game, and hardly anyone knows what the frick Chibi Robo is. So imagine a full-on GameCube re-release of Chibi Robo on the Switch. It could be a great way, right? Finally, Chibi Robo could actually gain success, and Nintendo could be like, hey, Chibi Robo's actually popular. People like Chibi Robo. Well, maybe we should make a Chibi Robo game. Or Custom Robo, right? That's another great one. Heck, put Wave Race, Blue Storm, and 1080p Avalanche. Put those both, right? Re-release those on the Switch. The Switch, also, let's remember, the Switch is one of the best times for Nintendo. So many people are buying Switch games. It's such a healthy install base. So this is the perfect time to introduce all these new people and all these new fans to all these old franchises Nintendo has, and it's a great way to gauge interest on these old games that Nintendo could totally bring over. Like I said, Wave Race and 1080p, what if they do well and they can, what if they do well and then finally tells Nintendo, hey, why don't you make a new Wave Race game? You haven't done that since like the GameCube. And I think that, wasn't that game produced by like the team over at Nintendo of America, who haven't done like anything much? They don't really get to do much these days, so that would be perfect. I'm thinking about that. I want that now. Like, that would be so cool. You could bring over Wave Race. You could bring over 1080p Avalanche. You could bring over Eternal Darkness. I'll be doing a whole video on that later, because, Eternal Darkness is dope. And Chibi Robo, Custom Robo, Baten Kaidos, man. Okay, I'm sorry. I have completely digressed from the prediction video. I just want to talk about GameCube. I'm sorry. I've completely digressed from this prediction video. So, let's get on to the final ones. I'm sorry. I got on GameCube and then I really went on a tangent. Woo. Okay, well, we pretty much talked about all my predictions, right? To recap, we'll get to the two final ones, but, well, actually, let's just get on to the final ones. I'm taking too long anyways. So, Breath of the Wild 2. Do I think it's going to be there? Yes, that's a big one that everyone's been looking for. So, here's the thing. Breath of the Wild 2... Ow, I just kicked my desk. Ow. I think Breath of the Wild 2 will probably be there. And my reasoning being for that is that if the game is actually going to come out in spring of next year, right, 2023, well, we do need to see the game at some point. And there's really no other better point to show this game off than right now. I mean, yeah, you could wait until until the February Direct of next year, but that's gonna be really close to like when the game comes out. So I say this is the perfect time. Yes, they could show off a big trailer at the Game Awards, but Nintendo seems to just not want to show off the big games at the Game Awards anymore, so I think this is the perfect time, right? And plus, you know, if Zelda, Wind Waker, and Twilight Princess do get announced, it's gonna sting if we have to hear one more time, you know, hey, the game's coming out, you know, don't worry, things are going smoothly, but you gotta wait a little longer. Like, please, we can't keep waiting for this, you know, we can't keep waiting. At least I can't, so I think we'll see Breath of the Wild 2. I think we could, and I hope it's a full, meaty trailer. Not a teaser like the last two, a big trailer. But most importantly, Nintendo, give us a name. Please, please, Nintendo, give us a name for this, game, right? We're all so tired of calling it the sequel to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, right? Please, just please give us a title. If anything, just give us a title, man. Alright? Like, apparently it's got some big spoiler in the title, which I have to ask, if it's such a big spoiler you can't give the title away, maybe you should have reconsidered what you're naming the game. But, if anything, anyways. So again, Breath of the Wild 2, I definitely think will be there. Plus, what else could be, you know, Nintendo loves their one more announcement, right? One more thing. And what's the best thing, you know, to announce there than Breath of the Wild 2? However, there is one more game I think we could see here, and this is my probably craziest prediction. Metroid Prime 4, I'm gonna say it. Alright? Yes, I know everyone's gonna be like, what? That game is not gonna see the light of day until we're all old and dead, alright? I get that, right? But and again, this is a personal one. I want it to be there, but I'm gonna predict it's gonna be there. Why? It has been like what? Oh, at least 3, almost 4 years since they restarted development on that game. It's been quite a long time. So I think it's a perfect time to finally show this game off. I know, like I said, most of these games would be sticking to probably winter. However, I think Breath of the Wild 2 and Prime 4 are fine exceptions. The reason why I want to see Prime there is obviously I want to see what Prime 4 looks like, but I think enough time has finally passed, right? It's been a few years since they've restarted development, and I think it is totally possible now that we see Metroid Prime 4 there. Now, the realistic thing, and probably what's going to happen, let's say Prime 1 remaster, remake, whatever, does actually end up happening. Well, then they'll probably just announce that and say, like when they did with Metroid Dread, right? Like, hey, Metroid Prime 4 is going good, but we have a new thing for you, so look forward to this, and it was Dread. So I could see them doing something exactly like that for Prime remake or remaster, right? Like, hey, I know you want to see Prime 4, things are going smoothly on that, but we do have something else for you to keep you, to satiate that, and that would be the Prime, the Prime remaster. So, I don't think it's very likely we'll see Prime 4, and most likely won't happen. But for me personally, I want to see Metroid Prime 4 there, alright? I just want to see this game. If anything, just give me a teaser, alright? I'm fine with a teaser for Prime. Like, I mean, granted, I've reached that state where I can, wait for this game now, and I'm just fine waiting and sitting around, but please, Nintendo, just give me Metroid Prime 4. Or just anything, just a teaser. I don't care if it's not even a long one. Just tease a little bit, just show a little bit of gameplay or something. Just tease it, all right? So, yeah, I'm gonna predict Metroid Prime 4 because I just want Metroid Prime 4. I don't think it's gonna be there, but I'm gonna predict it anyways because gosh dang, I want it to be there. I mean, I don't think it's impossible. I mean, okay. Crazy thing, what if actually Metroid Prime 4 is the last announcement and we get nothing on Breath of the Wild 2? I don't know why we would, but that would just be crazy. That would be so crazy if it's like, we didn't get Breath of the Wild 2, but we got Prime 4, so we didn't get what we wanted, but we got something else we really wanted. Like, that would be crazy. I don't think that's gonna happen, but that would be crazy. But, anyways, I'm running my mouth. I've been running my mouth for a long time, and I'm gonna risk, going an hour at this. I mean, I already went on a whole Gamecube tangent, so I'm sorry. I need to call this video here. I just wanted to do a whole prediction thing because I'm excited, if you couldn't tell. I'm really excited for the new video. So, quick recap on my little note card here I wrote down. Basically, Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot cap. I'm going to predict that's showing up in December. Will be here. Pokemon? Yeah, that's not showing up in the presentation. Fire Emblem? New game? Maybe. if it does show up, it's not coming out this year. That's my prediction. Splatoon 3 and Xenoblade 3. I don't think we'll see Splatoon 3 news here. Xenoblade 3, I think there's a possibility. Bayonetta 3, Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope. Definitely, we're gonna see those games. That's my prediction. Wind Waker Twilight Princess. It's gonna be in bundle for $60. That's my prediction. It's gonna be here. Metroid Prime HD remake. I mean, Jeff Grubb has been staking like his whole life on like that this game's gonna come out, so I'm gonna say yes, it's gonna be there. Sure, that's my prediction. And F-Zero GX, far less likely, but it's my dream wish. It's my please Nintendo on my hands and knees. I mean, same with Metroid, but F-Zero. That's my please Nintendo. Just bring it. So I'm gonna predict it because I want it. And then Breath of the Wild 2, Metroid Prime 4, I just went over. Breath of the Wild 2, I think we're gonna see it because I think that will be the last announcement. Prime 4, much like GX. I doubt it's gonna be there, but I want it. Please, Nintendo, give me the game. All right. I mean, it doesn't have to come out. Obviously, just show me a teaser, just anything of the new game. All right. But with that said, that covers pretty much everything. I've been talking for way too long, so. Anyways, I hope you are excited as I am, as excited as I am for the presentation tomorrow. Sorry if you couldn't tell, I'm not really editing this, I'm just wanting to talk about it, so. Anyways, I'm excited. Obviously, keep your expectations in line, but with that said, I'm excited, and I hope to see y'all tomorrow on the presentation, or on the stream. Well, I'm not streaming. I mean, there's gonna be a live stream. Oh, I messed that one up. I'm not even gonna cut that. No, I'm just gonna leave that in there. Anyways, have a great day. See you later. Bye-bye.